back to Beauty and the Wise, the podcast where we redefine what it means to age well inside and out by creating space for women to understand their bodies, their hormones, and their well-being with clarity and confidence. I'm your host, Kisha Tyrrell, and today we're having a powerful conversation at the intersection of hormone health, whole body wellness, and women's long-term cognitive health. As women move through perimenopause and menopause, the physical and emotional changes can feel overwhelming. And often the traditional medical approach doesn't give us the full picture. That's why I'm so excited for today's guest, who brings a truly holistic perspective. Joining me is Dr. Joanne Cousins-Simpson, functional medicine practitioner, primary care GP, and dementia certified professional, and the founder of Beams Bermuda. Dr. Cousins-Simpson is deeply committed to helping women understand the cause of their symptoms, supporting hormone balance, and optimizing overall well-being, including the brain health changes that happen during midlife. Today, we're living into hormones, gut health, stress, inflammation, cognitive health, and so much more, and the ways that functional medicine can help women navigate this stage with clarity and confidence. Let's get into it. Welcome, Dr. Cousins-Simpson.
Thank you. Thank you, Kisha, for having me.
I'm glad that you're here. So tell us about yourself, and let's start off with what you're doing at Beams.
Okay, so as you said in your intro, I am a GP, so I started out doing regular traditional GP work. Then I got into functional medicine. And just to explain what functional medicine is, so functional medicine is not a different type of specialty. It's a way of practicing medicine. So it means we do root cause. So if you come with a headache, I don't give you a pill for the headache. I try and figure out what is the problem, why you're having the headache. So I got into functional medicine first, and then I kind of branched out into dementia medicine a little bit because I have a child with Down syndrome. And one other thing that is with people with Down syndrome is that they will get cognitive decline or dementia or Alzheimer's real early. So I went into that just so I can understand it better. Functional medicine and hormones kind of tie into the dementia. It kind of merged at this stage, but they're two totally different aspects of how I practice, but they do overlap.
Okay, so just to be clear, before we go any further, there is a difference between functional medicine and it can complement if you're going to the traditional GP?
Yes, it complements all specialties.
Okay.
So I do have patients who come to me just for the functional medicine portion. Like if they just have a cough, a cold, a UTI, they go to their GP. If they're having things that they don't understand, chronic fatigue, hormonal issues, changes, then they tend to come to me for that.
Okay, so let's jump into hormones and root causes and, perimenopause and menopause.
Where do we even start? So perimenopause is the period of time leading up to menopause. Menopause is not really a time, it's an event. So you've had no period for a full year, then it's considered menopause. So you have the perimenopause, then you have postmenopause. A lot of issues happen during the perimenopausal stage. This is because it is the stage where most times we don't expect it, right? We're going through so many changes. We have not prepared for it as females, whether in school or just in life, or the generation before us, they never really spoke about it. Mm-hmm. So we didn't know what to expect. So I can tell you the first time mine came on, and I'm a physician and I didn't even know. So I went to, I think it was at Tulum in Mexico, mm-hmm. and I love the heat. It was summer, it's my birthday, it's June. I love the heat. And we went to look at a pyramid, and I just felt so sick. Like, I felt like I was overheating. Mm-hmm. I went back in the bus to sit down for a while, and then I felt better. But then when I went out, I mean, my husband was like, are you okay? Do you want us to go back? It was so strange. The problem was that was the beginning, because that was temperature dysregulation.
Okay.
So when perimenopause comes, there's some temperature dysregulation. Estrogen is a wide hormone. Like, it does so many things more than just giving you a period and allowing you to have babies. So once that was the beginning of my hormones falling, and the dysregulation was how I presented. But even as a doctor, I was like, what is wrong? And then after I thought about it, I was like, could I be going through perimenopause? Like, so it comes on surprising, because it's stuff that we don't talk about. But with a program like this, I hope there are younger women that are listening, because it is coming. And if you know how to mitigate some of the effects, then you're better able to handle it.
And I was just going to say, how old were you when this was happening?
I was 45.
Okay. And I know for me, and obviously you've been my doctor for at one point in my stage, I was in my 30s. I had it early.
That is it.
And I had no idea.
You don't even expect it. You weren't even looking in that direction.
Exactly.
And that's why functional medicine is very important, because of the tests that we do to figure out, we can know exactly why you're having these symptoms, right? So just implementing functional medicine, all aspects of primary care, I think would be a good practice, because not everybody is going to come to me. And if your GP is not able to figure out that in your 30s this may be perimenopause, then you're going to suffer for a while.
Absolutely. Okay, so what sort of underlying factors do you commonly see when women come to you about hormonal imbalances? Like, what are they coming? What should they recognize?
So a lot of times women present because hot flashes at night, or they're not sleeping anymore. Brain fog is a major one, as we were speaking before. Like, it's like the word is right there and it's just not coming out. And because I do dementia work, a lot of people think they're having early Alzheimer's.
Okay.
Or, some sort of cognitive decline, So when I have to tell a lot of people that, let's relax. Let's see how we're doing. You're not getting Alzheimer's. Because it presents that way. Or your bleeding is just heavy, like your period. All of a sudden, it was normal. It's just gotten heavy. These are some of the things that patients do come in with. But I do find there's this thread that's common to a lot of women is stress. So a lot of the women who come in with really bad symptoms, they're at like the height of their career. Their kids are either teenagers or they're still at home. They're working long hours. If they're in a company, they're now at VP level, CEO level, where they're working even more. So this underlying stress makes it even worse. So the symptoms come, on full blown, and the stress is the driver of that.
Okay. And so what happens when a woman is told, oh, it's just stress? It's just stress. It's just stress.
You know what? That's my pet peeve.
Exactly.
My pet peeve, because I find that I think if this was a male thing, they would start taking hormones in their 20s.
Yes.
They would never go through menopause, okay? They would learn about it in kindergarten and expect it. But for women, I think there was a time when everything was anxiety or stress for women. We were just not, that's the word, that's just God. We were just not taken seriously. And they used to treat menopause with antidepressants. There is some antidepressants that help with temperature regulation under hot flashes, but that wasn't why they were using it, right? But I think they were not taken seriously. Times have changed, and we as women are now a very large source of, we make We earn our own money. We have a lot of spending power. So now the pharmaceutical companies, we're now on their radar.
Yes.
And menopause is an actual thing now because they've come out with things that can help because we can spend money on it.
Exactly.
So we're being, told, we're being listened to. I went to a program. I know whoever did this is going to recognize it. I hope they're not watching, right? I went to a program a couple months ago and I spoke on menopause and hot flashes, right? And I talked about doing some deep breathing exercises at nights to help to sleep and stuff. And when I came off, a gentleman went up. And he's in the medical profession, the health profession, right? And he was like, oh, I have this breathing exercise. You just do it for 10 minutes and it cuts your hot flashes. I was like, what? I was like, oh, that's all I needed to do. And I had some women came to me and they were like, really? I felt that was so disrespectful. Like, you think if breathing exercise could cut my hot flashes, you think I would be going through it like
Exactly.
so many times.
Exactly.
But it's just...
It's dismissive.
Very, that's the word.
It's dismissive.
It's very dismissive, as if whatever we're feeling, either we're making it up, because we're women, we're hysterical, right? But it wasn't given importance. And hot flash, it's for women who have it, some have it really bad. You can't sleep. Their spouses suffer too because the AC is on like 6 to 4. Okay, so it's like it has to be addressed, and it's disrespectful also when you have a patient that's a female and you don't even let her finish speaking. You're giving her an antidepressant. Even if you're going to give that to her, there should be some explanation telling her how this relates to it. But yeah, so things are coming out now. Women are we're more assertive. We're demanding more answers. And we don't think we should have to just suck it up.
No.
True. Yes, we've been pushing through everything our whole life. Why should we push through this?
Exactly.
So things are changing.
So there was a lot in there, and of course, I'm trying to remember everything that you just said because I want to pick at each piece. But you made a comment about, let's talk about hot flashes. Yeah. Hot flashes start in the brain.
Yes. So estrogen is actually a brain hormone too. It affects so many things. It affects wound healing. It affects your gut. It affects your brain. It does happen in the brain, the hot flash. So I spoke about the temperature dysregulation. So that's in your brain. So what happens is your brain is no longer able to identify the temperature as it is. So because it's not, it tells your body that it's a different temperature. Your body heats up to get off all that heat. So actually it's telling your body that you are really, 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 really hot. So it heats up, all the blood vessels come at the surface of the skin to release a lot of heat. And then after which you're cold. Exactly. Right? And that's why you're like this with the covers. You put it off and then you put it back on because you get cold. But it's an exaggeration. It's not, your body isn't analyzing the temperature as it should. So it does start in your brain. And if you don't take care of that part, that's where the sleep comes in. Yes. It affects your sleep. So sleep is also, I may not go into sleep now because you may have something else with sleep. No problem. So do you want me to go into the sleep? Sure can. So sleep is very, very important, right? But sleep is also a delicate balance. You have rhythms in your body, and there's a rhythm for sleep. So if you're waking up too often, it throws your rhythm off when it comes to sleep. So you don't sleep well anymore. But not only that, the sleep is when your body recuperates and regenerates everything. So from your brain to your cells, everything happens. During the night, your brain gets rid of garbage. Like, so I'm here, there is a water bottle, that's not important. So when I sleep tonight, it's only going to capture the memories that are important. So I met you and we spoke. So if you're not able to do that, then the brain is full of too much information and it doesn't process. There's also detoxing of the brain, actual toxins in the brain. So the brain needs to get rid of that while you're sleeping. So if you're awake and conscious, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
And the moods also, your hormones are dependent on that. So now with our lifestyle where there's lights on all the time, you know, we don't go to bed when the sun goes down anymore. We're up scrolling, and that light is not good for us. We're indoors a lot during the day, so our bodies can't make melatonin, which should be high at night. There's so many things in our lifestyle now that is going against sleep. That is why we're seeing more of cognitive decline and Alzheimer's and dementia, because these things are contingent on you sleeping. So sleeping is very, very important. You know, I tell people I go to bed at 8. You know, my mom and my grandma went to bed early and I used to laugh.
Yes.
You know how we just morph into our parents, right?
Yes.
And now, if I get less than 7 hours, I'm not a pleasant person. I can tell you that.
I get it.
But, you know, and you don't feel well. When you get a good night's sleep, you wake up and you feel like, oh, I can take on the world. There's so many things I wanted to do in my business. I'm just going to do that. You know that feeling? That's because your body's fresh and it got rid of all the junk. So sleep is important, and therefore, you know, helping to get rid of the hot flashes so women can sleep, because then it's just a slippery slope.
Absolutely.
You know, and you're not just telling them just to push through. You know, doesn't work.
But isn't it interesting that lack of sleep means lack of concentration and you're forgetting stuff, and people automatically assume Alzheimer's or dementia, but they don't think perimenopause or menopause.
No, they don't, because it wasn't given that much importance. And sleep isn't given a lot of importance. You know, people will boast, oh, I can survive on 5 hours of sleep. I was like, no, you cannot. You know, what's happening is because you are younger, your body can compensate. But when you get older, trust me, it's not going to be able to compensate anymore. So you really are not functioning on 5 hours of sleep.
Exactly.
So you do need to get all the hours. And the thing with sleep, you can train yourself. So if you need to get 8 or 9 hours and you want to go to bed at 9 or 10 and you get up at 7 or 8 or 6, you can start doing that. The first couple nights, of course, you're not going to fall asleep. But you're also not going to go on your phone and scroll. You're going to listen to an audiobook. I mean, there's so much out there nowadays on YouTube. Frequencies that makes you sleep, stories that make you sleep, things that can make you sleep. After a while, your body just gets used to it. And you just fall asleep.
And that's where great sleep habits come into play.
Exactly, sleep. But, you know, the habit, you create anything in your life. The habit of being a night owl or of going to bed early, anything of exercise, which is a major one too. Just to put this in there, what I've discovered is women who exercise, like they've been exercising since their 20s and 30s, they tend not to have menopausal symptoms. They don't have really bad menopausal symptoms. Sometimes they don't even have any. So exercise is a really good thing to start putting in place, and it helps with your memory too. So,
But is that a good or bad thing to not have any menopausal symptoms? I mean, I'm 48. And I have friends older than me that are like, oh, I haven't had any symptoms whatsoever. And I'm like, you must be going through something.
so they go through it, but the dysregulation and stuff, I don't think we were meant to feel those symptoms.
Okay.
You understand? It's like being exposed to a virus and you don't have a runny nose or a sore throat because your body just dealt with it.
Yes.
But if you start having the runny nose and the sore throat, it means your body's having a little a little time dealing with it, it may get rid of it, but it had a little, you know. Yeah, so you should be able to go through it better.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So let's talk about gut health and inflammation. And like you mentioned earlier, detoxification. Obviously, that happens during your sleep, but can you make or explain the link between gut health, inflammation, and hormonal imbalance?
Okay, so gut health has come, it's very popular now. Back when I started, and it wasn't even that far, I mean, specialists used to tell people that it's not true. There's nothing wrong with your gut. It doesn't affect anything else. You know what I mean? Like gluten sensitivity was a myth. Even though people felt better when they cut out the gluten and they weren't celiac, But gut health is important because a lot of the neurotransmitters or these are elements or compounds that affect your mood and stuff. They're actually made in your gut.
Okay.
Or they're influenced in some way, shape, or form by the microbiomes in your gut. So microbiomes are the bacteria in your gut. So we all have bacteria in our gut. Some are good, some are bad. Bad and good is relative based on how much we have them. So something may be good, but if you have too much of it, then it's no longer good, right?
Yeah.
So the microbiome affects everything. It affects how estrogen is excreted from the body. And the thing with estrogen is this: if you don't excrete the estrogen, your body just recycles it. That may not be a good thing because then you'll have too much estrogen.
And that impacts your liver and your gallbladder.
Yes,
and
because the liver is the one that keep metabolizing or detoxing the estrogen. So it does its work, packages it, puts it in your gut. You're not passing your stool. It comes right back up. And it's like, what? You're
going
here
on?
again?
Exactly.
And it has to do the work again. The other thing is that there are compounds called xenoestrogen. So these are from plastics.
Okay.
So these things mimic estrogen. So they function like estrogen, but they don't do the good things that estrogen do. But because we drink from plastic containers, we use microwave heater plastic containers and stuff, we have all this extra estrogen. And then that again has to be eliminated by the gut. Sometimes it's overwhelmed by the gut. The other thing is sometimes your gut microbiome is not in the right balance.
Okay.
So it can be too much or too little from a number of things. You probably ate a lot of junk food, probably got too many antibiotics, or you got a bad gut infection. Stuff like that can change the microbiome. And then that in and of itself will trigger either an inflammation in the gut or again with the estrogen, because estrogen has to be eliminated not only through the stool, but there is an enzyme that the bacteria in your gut makes that traps the estrogen too. So if you're not having enough of that, then the estrogen, the hormones will just come back up.
Okay.
Then the gut can be just stripped away, as I say, of bacteria. And then foods, when they come in, they cause inflammation or they cause irritation.
Okay.
And the more irritation the food cause, it's the more swollen. Just picture the gut being swollen. If it's swollen, so the gut is made up of cells. If it's swollen, then the cells are swollen also. And then there becomes space in between.
Okay.
If there's space in between, then food goes into your bloodstream. Once food gets into your bloodstream, it triggers your immune system, which triggers inflammation. And that's where the generalized inflammation comes from. And if your gut is bad, what you'll find is you'll either have skin eczema. So eczema is one of those that are really triggered by gut. Asthma is also another one. Things like that, sleep. You find that you don't absorb certain nutrients, B12 or iron. So those things, inflammation affects hormone that way. The other way inflammation affects hormone is that once inflammation is triggered, so inflammation is actually part of the healing process. but it should be an acute phase. So it should be like just for a short period of time. However, if your gut isn't good, this is a chronic thing, right?
Continues.
Yes, it continues. And with that, then cortisol is triggered. And cortisol is your stress hormone. And it doesn't have to be mental stress. It can be physical stress in your body.
Okay.
So cortisol gets triggered. The thing with cortisol is made from the same compound that your body uses to make estrogen and testosterone and progesterone. So if your body has to release a lot of cortisol, your body is now going to prioritize. It's going to say, okay, what do I need? So she's fatigued, she's not doing well, but she needs that extra energy to go to work. So I'm going to do the cortisol. I'm not going to have, or hormones are going to now fall because you know what? She doesn't have to have children anymore. That's not a priority right now. A priority is just to get
her going.
Yes. So the cortisol is going to be high, and it's called cortisol steal, where it steals the compound from the cortisol steals it from the hormones. So it does affect your hormone in that way.
Okay.
So our body is so it's connected that it's amazing how we used to think that one part is just one part, like it won't affect anything else. So everything depends on each other.
Okay. Okay. So what would you say would be in that regard, in regards to gut health, detoxification? What do we need to do on a regular? Like, should people be considering a liver detox, or something extra that they can do? Are we just talking about eating more greens? Like, what are we talking about?
So I would suggest first eat well. And when I say eat well, is cut out processed foods. Simple way of knowing processed foods and what whole food is, things that come from the earth. So pasta doesn't grow on a tree. You have to do something with the flour or the chickpeas, even if it's healthy. You have to process it, right? Even tofu, you have to process it. Tofu is a bean. So to get it to look like that, that's a lot of processing. So eating whole foods, things that come from the earth, chicken, broccoli, vegetables, even rice isn't too bad, right? Potatoes, stuff like that. If you eat better, one, it's better for the gut, but even broccoli and those type of cruciferous vegetables, they help your liver to detox, right? So they help with phase 2 detoxification in the liver. So I think most people should start with their gut, with their foods, because that's where we slip up most of the time. The chips, the ice cream, the fries.
The alcohol.
The alcohol, which alcohol is technically a poison that has to go through your liver before it can really go through your bloodstream, right? So that's something that you have to, if you fix what's going in your body, then you can add the detoxification. I do encourage detox maybe once or twice a year. I don't encourage detox more than that. But detox has to be done properly, because so your liver does most of the detoxification, right? And it goes through phases. So you have phase 1, phase 2, and then the last phase is elimination in your gut.
Okay.
Some people, you get these things like milk thistle and they just do their own detox. But some of them rev up certain phases of detoxification.
Okay.
So say I take a compound and what it's doing is revving up phase 1, but my phase 2 is not working. What happens is I've revved up phase 1 and then there's all this backup of these toxins, because phase 2 cannot manage. Exactly.
Okay.
So detox is not just taking pills.
Yes.
You have to make sure. So you have to start from the 3rd and work your way up. So elimination is first. Make sure you're going to the bathroom, because if you get rid of all the toxins and they're just in your gut, chances are they're going to be reabsorbed.
They're not really going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
Exactly.
So you have to do it with someone who knows. Doesn't have to be a doctor. A doctor is not the only one who can do, but someone who has read up on it and know what to do. Another thing that I like to tell patients that toxins are also stored in fat cells.
Okay.
So you'd have people who want to lose weight, right? And they're doing everything and they're not losing weight. And I said, well, you know what? Sometimes it's better to start with a detox, because if your body's storing toxins and fats, that's actually your body trying to protect you.
Yes.
So it's storing it in the fat cells, so it's not in the blood. You trying to lose weight, the body is going to hold on to it because you have not detoxed the fat, the toxin, so it doesn't want to release it. And then if you do these things that go against your body and forces it to lose weight, all that toxin is going in your blood. So you drop the weight, but you don't look that healthy. Your skin looks dull. You know what I mean? It's a process, and we like the shortcut and
Yes,
like
the quick fix.
yes, but we have to say, okay, why is my body holding on to all this weight, even though I've stopped drinking all the Coke and all the stuff? Because you can't be drinking all of that and expect to lose weight.
Yes, this is true.
And then there are other things like sleeping. You won't lose weight if you don't sleep well. If your iron is low, you won't lose weight too. So and hormones is a big one for weight loss. So weight loss is not just calories in, calories out. I have these young girls say that. You see them on Instagram, they're in their 20s, right? And they're like, oh, calories in, calories out. And I'm thinking, if it was that simple, everybody would be slim, right? And first of all, I look just like you when I was your age. And I used to eat crab.
So I don't want a 20-year-old telling me how to lose weight.
Thank you. That's the first thing. You need somebody your age telling you how to lose weight, what exercise to do too, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, detox is very important, but you have to prepare for the detox. And you go to someone, nutritionists are able to do detox too. And then once you're in a good place, then you start your detox process.
Okay, thank you. So let's go back to the beginning. Someone comes to see you, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. What does lab work, testing, blood work, what does this look like for them?
Okay.
Or in the functional medicine space?
Yeah, so in the functional medicine space, we don't only do blood work. So we do saliva tests to do hormones, we do gut tests to check your gut, it's a stool test. We also have other tests that we do use, like heavy metal tests, neurotransmitters, but the top three that we do use: blood tests, stool tests, and hormone tests. When it comes to blood tests, I do a lot of bloods, especially in the beginning, because if you don't test for it, you don't know if it exists. So, some people be like, well, my doctor said I don't have thyroid disease, right? And they've checked only one aspect of the thyroid hormone, they checked only one. You can't know because you didn't check the rest. So I do blood tests to check biomarkers for your glucose. I do fasting insulin. Fasting insulin is an important one because it tells about insulin resistance way before you become diabetic.
Okay.
And it's easier to correct things like that. Like pre-diabetes, it's easy to correct your sugars then. When you become diabetic, it's a bit harder at that time. So so my tests are usually preventative. And then a lot of patients do come with complaints, so I try and do diagnostic testing too to see what's going on. The hormone testing will tell me about your sex hormones, so your estrogen. And estrogen is a group of hormones, right? So estradiol, estrone, and they have different uses. So we check all the estrogen hormones. We check your progesterone, testosterone. We check also your cortisol, which is the stress hormone. We also check melatonin to see. What I found is testosterone is a big one for women. And I found this because I had to use it. So before that, I had, it was, as a doctor, you don't have all the illness you're treating, right? So you use knowledge from a book. But when you have firsthand knowledge, things change. Yes, it's different, right? I found that a lot of women are low in testosterone, right? And unless their bones were weak, I wouldn't really pay much attention because testosterone and estrogen helps bone strength, right? So it helps to prevent osteoporosis. But I find testosterone has a lot to do with the brain fog and the mood and just the motivation. And you're working out as someone at this stage and you're not building any muscle, or testosterone helps with that.
So just to pause you, you said their testosterone is low. Or testosterone for a woman anyway, it's already low anyway.
Yes, but we have a range that women need to have testosterone, just like our men need to have estrogen, right? So there is a range that we do need testosterone because it helps with the bone health.
Yes.
Helps with your brain, helps with motivation, and stuff like that. Helps you build your muscles too. Men will have more muscles just because they're just built better that way, right? But we should be able to get some muscles if we work out too. So the testosterone is much lower than it should be. It's not in that normal range. And a lot of patients, you would put back the estrogen and the progesterone and they're still complaining that, yes, they do feel better, but they just don't feel, something is off. And you'd put the testosterone and it's like, oh, they're now motivated to go to the gym. They like how they put hard work in and they're seeing the difference. Their brain is just firing. So hormones play a wide role. So I do the hormones like on almost everyone, right? And the stool tests for the gut. Most of the times I'll do a food sensitivity because if your gut is bad, there are a number of foods that are actually triggering your gut. They may not be the first one who started the inflammation in your gut, but they're driving the inflammation. So when we do a food sensitivity, and it's not a food allergy, so you're not genetically allergic to these foods. It's not like peanut allergies. These are sensitivities, meaning at present your body is developing antibodies to these foods. And it could be because the inflammation and stuff. If you cut these foods out and then treat the inflammation, you can actually put these foods back in.
Yes.
So it's not like if it's a food allergy, you can't ever put it back in.
Correct.
But with sensitivity, once you heal the gut, then you can put it back in.
Okay. So going back to the testing, you do all the testing. How do you approach the HRT conversation? And now, there's things about the warning is off of, the whole thing.
Yes.
It's like people were nervous around HRT.
Yes. So most of the time, so we're living in a world with so much knowledge right now. So a lot of women, by the time they get to me, they've read up on it. They just want to know if, as a professional, what they read online is true. Yes. So there's not, and plus they're going through hell, like, the hot flash, they're at the point where, what, I need help. So back in the days, they had a study in late 90s, early 2000s, right? Where first HRT used to be so good. And then it got a bad rap. Women were having stroke and there was uterine cancers. There were a lot of things at play why this would happen. One, they were using a lot of synthetic hormones, right? Another thing is estrogen has to be balanced with progesterone. So there were things that they weren't doing at the time because they just found that, oh, this is so great, let's just do it. And they weren't testing the hormones. So sometimes some women were given too much estrogen. So they were in estrogen dominance, and that will cause your uterine lining to grow. And eventually, if nothing is done, you can develop a cancer, right? So now back to where I said we're now a big group of spenders.
Yes.
There's money in it.
Yes.
Now they've gone back to the drawing board and say, you know what really went wrong? How can we tap into this market? And they're creating more what they call bioidentical hormones. So hormones that are more aligned to how your body produces it. So it's a more natural hormone. So you can get those now. They have less chances of you having, cancer symptoms or stroke. There are even patients with breast cancer, certain types of breast cancers, mind you, that are now able to use hormones.
Okay.
And estrogen hormones. This is something you would go to your oncologist. Like if I prescribe it for someone, I'll speak to their oncologist, and they'll find out either the cancer was not estrogen positive or what, and we're able to use in certain cases estrogen. They no longer use the family history because at that time, if you had cancer, your family had cancer, your dog had cancer, like nobody could use hormones, right? Now, family history is not in so much at play in it.
Okay.
It's more personal history, unless, you have the BRCA2 gene. So, but, things have changed. The hormones are now better. And therefore, when I approach patients, we talk about it. And some things are just logics. Like if estrogen caused cancers, younger women would be having more breast and uterine cancer because their estrogen is just off the chart. Mm-hmm. So it had to be either the type of estrogen we're giving, or we're just not mimicking how the body deals with estrogen. And I think that's where the research came in, and it's better now.
Okay. So it's basically, women need to think about what options are out there for them.
Yes.
They don't have to feel like, oh, I only have one way to do this. And
yeah, there are options. And there are also herbal options that we can do. If the symptoms aren't too bad, we can try herbal stuffs. Mm-hmm. And, for women who can't take HRT, there are certain antidepressants that help with balancing just the temperature regulation. So we're not giving it to you because we think you're depressed, but it has another use. Yes, so there are options for women.
Okay, and this is also where nutrition, like you mentioned, movement comes in.
Exactly, going out with friends. And I think a big thing too is acceptance. Mm-hmm. I think our society is a very superficial society, and appearance and how you look is almost more important than the health of your body. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of pressure is placed on women to try to keep younger. Mm. And it's not just to look younger, but going through menopause is a change in their mindset too. So they do know they're getting older. You know how men are like, the older they get, is the more more women are after them. With women, it's a little bit different. But it's acceptance. And when I say acceptance, it's not meaning acceptance in, oh, I'm getting old, I'm going on the shelf. It's just accepting where you are in the stage. And if you want to do stuff, do it. Mm-hmm. There's no age limit on certain things. Don't feel because you're this age you can't do that or you can't wear that. Within reason, by the way. Within reason. But doing exercises or just living your life and be happy and confident in where you are, that's what attracts people,
Yes.
It's not, yes, being beautiful, they'll take a second look. But we all know people who are just beautiful, and once you get to know them, they just look so ugly, So it's the confidence and you treating people kind and treating yourself kind. That's what attracts people.
And I think it's also about helping women to rebuild that trust of themselves again, because it's not the end. It's
not the end, and it's a part of your body. It's a part of life that you have to go through, mm-hmm. And it has its its advantages. You can wear white pants anytime you want. You know what I mean, right? That there's certain things you don't have to worry about
anymore. Exactly.
Exactly. So focus on those type of things and not like you're losing something. It's the alternative is death.
Yes.
So it's either you're gonna die young or you're gonna get old. So you just have to come to grips and just enjoy life wherever.
I love that. I love it. So before we finish, what would you say, or what would you give advice to our viewers, one small habit that they can do daily that, they can implement right away that they can kind of consider? How can they support their hormones, their brain health? Like what would be one habit that you would suggest, you can start this right away?
Okay, to pick one, right? I think one, for me, the most important one is setting boundaries. And when I say set boundaries, you set boundaries in your work life, in your family life, and that means putting yourself first. As women, we're all things to all men. At work, we have to prove ourselves. When we come home, we're the ones taking care of the kids and also our adult kid husband we have to take care of too. So you get lost in all of that. And because you have two jobs, one at home and one at work, there's no time for you to even relax. Setting boundaries means you set boundary for yourself and you decide this is my time. And that is going to mean saying no. But people will get over it. I noticed that. They will know this is the new me. I cannot take on this at work. I cannot be there at 7 and leave at 7. You know what I mean? I need to do stuff for myself. I need to go shopping. I saw something I like and I want to get it. You know what I mean? And I can treat myself. I find setting boundaries is the beginning of everything, because setting boundaries also means I'm going to eat right. So I'm not going to rush and fix everything for the kids and they're eating and I don't eat well. I'm not going to be with the kids and not go do exercise. So once you set the boundaries, you start focusing on yourself and you take care of yourself. Make yourself as healthy as possible. Then you have stuff to give to everybody else.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm pretty sure our viewers appreciate that as well. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
I know
me.
we could keep talking for a lot longer, of course.
Oh.
But yeah, I do appreciate this, and I enjoy having conversations with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
From a holistic approach. So
yeah, and I think this is, I feel like if we had this probably 10 years ago, a lot of women, save a lot of trouble. But I'm really, really happy and proud of you, Kisha, for stepping out on your own and really creating your own space.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thanks. To every woman listening, you deserve answers, you deserve support, and you deserve to feel informed about your own body. Your symptoms are not imagined, your concerns are not exaggerated, and your well-being matters. If you'd like to connect with Dr. Cousins-Simpson or learn more about BEAMS, all of her details will be included in the episode description. And if you're ready to explore your own hormone health journey in a deeper, more holistic way, you can connect with me through Inzuri Wellness for coaching and additional resources. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Beauty and the Wise. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube or catch us on Channel 82. Follow us on social media. Until next time, take care of your body, protect your peace and your spirit.